Setting up processes. Do you enjoy it? Do you hate it? Somewhere in between? Maybe you haven't done it yet. Maybe you have a ton of experience. Where is it on the spectrum for you in your business? Now, I was just having a cool conversation earlier today with someone, and I wanted to come in and shoot an episode while that conversation was still fresh in my mind. I was talking with the business owner, and it's an exciting time for them because they've had different types of work in the past. They've got advanced degrees, but now they're stepping out into their own, and they're entrepreneurs in every sense of the term. Business is exciting every day. There's new things happening every day. There's constantly a million different directions that they could go. The whole world is their oyster, as the saying goes, and they are excited. But with the excitement also comes a certain level of overwhelm. And if you've been there, you truly feel what I'm talking about. It's not something that's made up. Every entrepreneur that steps into that unknown for the first time experiences those feelings. Butterflies in the belly, you're not sure if it's going to work. You're like, oh, should I go this direction? Wait, I have this opportunity. Wait, I have this opportunity. I could go any direction in the world. I have all the choices. And yet it's so complicated because as an entrepreneur, you're supposed to make decisions, you're supposed to solve problems, and you don't have a playbook. There's nobody standing there saying, okay, now that you have this problem, go and do this way, go and solve that way, which is what oftentimes as an entrepreneur, we're excited. We're tired of everybody telling us, oh, you have to do it this way. You have to follow the rules. You have to follow the instructions. We're like, no, I think I want to go out and explore. I want to discover and I want to solve these myself. But sometimes it gets exhausting when you have a stack of problems you have to solve. And so at times, as a business owner, it can be troublesome to know, when do I keep solving these problems and when do I set up processes? And we got into that conversation and they asked me, they said, hey, we're getting started, but we want to set up a whole bunch of processes to make it so that our business runs smooth. I was like, that's great, but is that your problem? And we had to talk through that. What is their problem? And in this case, they're brand new into the business world. Nobody knows they exist. And so their lead sources are a little bit unstable. They don't have a large amount of awareness for their company or for their offer or any of their services. And so for them, they could go and set up all these processes, but they'd be solving the wrong problem. They needed to solve the problem right now of, how do we make sure more people are aware of who we are, what we do, what we offer, how we perform our services, and then they're still in the discovery phase where they're not entirely sure of the answers to all that. They don't know if they want to serve this customer group over here solely, if they want to serve this one over here, they want to serve some of each. They don't know how all those pieces are going to fall in place. Oftentimes, when you're at that level, the business owner needs to do a lot of self-discovery and business discovery, which means you're going to go in and you're going to start figuring out, this doesn't really seem to be a fit for us. Do I change the way we operate, or do I pivot the type of people that we're approaching? And those are hard discussions that the business owner often has to have with themselves, because there's not a lot of other people to be able to bounce those ideas off from, unless you have a business coach or a partner or someone, a trusted individual that you can just go and have those sounding board moments with. But going back to processes, there's a time to put processes in place, and there's a time when you shouldn't put processes in place. If you're wondering if it's the right time to put processes in place, here's some good rule of thumb that can kind of help you. Number one, you should be putting processes in place if you notice that you or a team member has done that same thing several times recently. That's one. Another is if you're in a position where it has to be absolutely done perfectly and you're about to hand it off to someone else. Those are a good moment to make sure that you have a set of instructions, or in other words, a process, or in other words, a checklist put together so that you can hand that to someone else and say, here's what we normally do, and then train with them to make sure they understand what each one of those steps mean, and then see where the holes and the gaps are and have them run through it once with you. So that's the second one, is if you're about to hand it off to someone else, you need to establish those processes. When should you not be building processes? Well, if you've got a theoretical offering that you're going to put out to the world, you've never even tried to pitch it to anyone to see if they're interested, you've never even done anything but had the concept, hey, I think we could do this. It's probably not the right time to start building out detailed processes yet, if you're in the startup phase. If you're an established business and you already have a lot of those pieces taken care of, you've got a strong customer base, you've got a good formula for launching new products, you know how all those parts and pieces work, it's easy to set up processes because oftentimes you're going to pull from over here, you can establish all that together and it doesn't take a lot of time. But if you're launching something brand new and you've never done anything like it before, it's good to not get the cart in front of the horse and spend all of your time figuring out all the micro process steps, when in fact you need to be testing out to the market and saying, hey, is this something that my customers are interested in? Would they be interested in the way I message this? Are they interested in a price point? You need to do some of that discovery and run through it with customers first, make sure that they're going to want to buy from you. And then as you're working through that, usually the first few times, what I've seen a lot of entrepreneurs do is they will either sell it the first time at a good discount, give it away for free, and with clarity. Hey, this is the first time we're doing this. It's going to be a little bit rough. Hope you're okay with that. If you're not, don't buy from me right now, or don't have us do this, because we're making sure that all the things we think are going to work. And so if you can find a customer that's willing to walk with you on that journey once, while you're building processes, that's what I have found, and I've seen a ton of other business owners that do that same thing, that you build the process as you're doing the work the first time or the second time, and then you refine it a few times, then you'll have it in place. But if you're just sitting at the kitchen table thinking, man, I'm so excited I have this brand new business, and you're thinking, all right, well, let's go in and figure out how I'm going to do all these things, and you start running down rabbit holes, you're not going to do the one thing that you need to, which is get customers. And if you're not getting customers, your business won't last very long. So, in summary, if you're wondering, do I build more processes or do I not build processes, figure out what your bottleneck is, go and chase that bottleneck, and then once needing processes starts to become a bottleneck, take your focus, move it on to build processes, get them built, and then move on to your next bottleneck.